Hello and welcome to a completely random stream here on CosmoQuest. Um, I have a dog who desperately wants the treat that is in my hand. Okay, there he has it. So one of the things that people were mentioning over on our Discord is that we don't stream enough. And I got to thinking there are a lot of activities that I do that there's no reason for me to do them without streaming them. So we're going to work to take your feedback and do more of what we do out loud. Now, what I'm going to be working on is this year marks 10 years that we have been producing our 365 Days of Astronomy podcast. I think 10 years is worth celebrating. So we are in the process of planning a new 3,650 podcasts later 10-hour event on April 27th. And in order to announce all of this, I want to do some pretty kick-ass graphics. So you are all invited to tag along with me while I work on putting that together. Now, my mic isn't where I normally put it, so if I can get some feedback, I think my audio levels are looking kind of low, so let me just move my mic forward. There we go. That should be better as long as my mic doesn't fall over. Now, often when we're coding, we have a dog cam, and when donations or bits or subs are made, the dog gets Cheerios. Well, I don't have a dog cam right now, but I do have these super amazing BarkBox tweet treats hi, I will give a BarkBox treat to Eddie every time there is a donation, bits, Patreon, anything involving money. I'm going to give my dog a treat if he's still in here. Okay, so the goal of this isn't fundraising. I just wanted to do standard. Yes, this is what we normally do. Here's the caveat on it. Now, in order to do event planning and graphical development, I want to start by switching over to a different screen. My dog. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and fix that. It looks like I just completely forgot to set a mic up. OBS makes it really easy to forget simple things that make life so much easier. Hello, Brain Freeze, and hello, Paranor, and thank you for setting all of this up for me. So what I had said was I have a dog that was giving me the most desperate stare into my soul ever. He has now given up and lain down. But I have a dog here peering into my soul. And I no longer need that, so that can go away. And let's turn on the correct view. There we go. So my goal for today, and I'm going to turn some music on in the background. Okay. Still too loud on the background music, but we're figuring all of this stuff out for you. So what I started off by saying is, and I'm going to need help adjusting that music so that it's the right level for everybody. This music we have over on our CosmoQuest channel, a Twitch safe music suggestions list. And this is the Fantasy Adventure Epic 4 Hours by Kevin MacLeod that was suggested by Paranor. So thank you for the suggestion. And I'm going to be fussing with volume to try and get it so that I can hear it and you can hear it without me getting drowned out. Okay, so let's see if that works better. That still may be a little bit loud. Let me know. I had to adjust it higher for me and then down in OBS for you guys. So our goal for today is still another 2 notches down. Okay. Let me know if that's better. So my goal for today is to take all of these graphics that I have that are the different 365 Days of Astronomy logos and map them onto a globe. And I can go one more notch down. I had mouse fail. Come on, downward. Go downward. Okay, there. That should be right. So let me know if that is too low, too high, what direction it is on the audio. Now what I want to work on, as I was saying, is I have all of these different graphics. One more down. Is that better? The music is crescendoing, so we're fighting the crescendo. We are fighting the crescendo. I'm going to go down a little bit more because I can see that the crescendo is creeping up. Okay, let's try this. Let's see if this does it for us. Okay, let me know if that's too soft now. Anyways, so I have all these. Which direction? That direction. Over there. No, over there. Over there. Over there, I have all these graphics that are the different logos for 365 Days of Astronomy. And what I'd like to do is map them onto a globe. And this isn't that hard, but it requires going through some silliness along the way. So I have started out, and it was while I was doing this that I realized, ooh, I can do this on Twitch. I've started setting up a different grid that I'm going to put my graphics on. And I want to figure out how to, first of all, just arrange my workspace so that I have these two things tiled side by side. So there's my grid. Zoom a little bit. And I'm going to put our 365 Days of Astronomy logo smack dab in the center. So I'm going to start out by grabbing it. I'm going to ungrab its background. And these are all graphics that were originally created by team member Austin Hinterleader, and I succeeded in successfully grabbing only the background. That was the opposite of what I wanted to do. How did I do that? And there's a barky dog in the background. Okay, so I'm just going to grab all of that and I'll delete what I need to over here. Okay, so that works. Now I should be able to just adjust the size. Let's see, that is potentially going to be entirely the wrong size, so we will know in a moment. That's not bad. Some of the graphics didn't scale correctly, so I'm going to zoom in. Stella does have opinions. And am I popping or am I just graphically missing the pop filter? My pop filter has been having gravity issues. It dislikes gravity. Gravity is winning. Okay, so I want that path. Let's do an object ungroup. Somewhere in here is the path in question. So there's the path. Popping. Okay. I will work to avoid the letter P. And when I do use it, I will use it with care. Now, I'm working on a 43-inch monitor, which means occasionally my computer likes to throw things up on places you can't see them. I'm going to work to move things out to keep them where you can see them. So here is my 365 Days of Astronomy logo. Now, of course, I've ungrouped everything. So now I need to regroup it, but not the background. And I want to expand this out. Figure out what is the appropriate size to fit in this grid. Alrighty. So now the question is, thank you so much for this sub. You just made a pooch happy. Come on up. Ooh. And Stella just came in, so Stella's gonna get a treat too. There you go. Whoa, I just bounced the treat off her head. Thank you. All right, now I said that we were gonna map this onto a circle, and I wanna find out if this is the right size grid or not. And the way that you map things onto, actually a sphere is the correct word. The way you map things onto a sphere is you start by creating, and let's do this as background 365 sphere. So I'm going to save, apparently I'm saving this in my Twitch directory. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to export it as a JPEG. And I'm going to export it onto my desktop. Not that you can see the window I'm using. So trust me, I'm saving this as a JPEG. Now what I'm going to do is when it outputs that JPEG, I'm going to open it in Illustrator. Open with Illustrator. Now, the way that Illustrator allows you to map things onto a sphere is you can turn graphics into a symbol just by dragging the graphic into the symbol menu. And I want to do this as a graphic, not a movie clip. And I want to do this as a static symbol because there's nothing moving. So now I've created the symbol. I can still see this all over my desktop. It's kind of a mess. So I'm going to make this go away over here in the layers panel. Now, to create a sphere, you start out just like with calculus with half of a circle. So let me draw a circle. And the easiest way to get a circle, to get half of a circle, is to draw a circle and cut it in half. This movement is far more epic than what this music is far more epic than what I'm doing. There, so deleting half my circle. So now I have this circle and I'm going to do a 3D revolve. One of the problems I'm realizing you guys have right now is because I'm on a super tall monitor, you can't see my drop down menus. So I'm just going to talk you through what I'm doing. Now what I want to do is map that art onto a 3D surface. And I'm going to turn on preview so I can halfway see what I'm doing. Now that's what happens with no symbol. This is what happens with a symbol. And I want to scale it to fit. And that still doesn't show up. I think the reason it doesn't show up is because it's shading over it. So I'm going to turn off the shading. And I still did something very wrong. Why? Why aren't you showing my artwork? I would like you to show my artwork. Preview, preview. I am confused. I wonder if I just have such a small square that it's like, no, this square is insufficient for what you are trying to do. Or I wonder if it's because I have a black surface. I bet that might have something to do with it. There we go. So as long as you have a white surface, your thing will show up. So what I can see now is I actually want to move my 365 days over one block to the right to get this globe to work. So let's try doing that and then throwing the rest of the logos in. So to sum up, I am going to throw logos into boxes and then map it all onto a sphere. Now, I'm just going to systematically grab a variety of these. And since some work on white backgrounds and some work on dark backgrounds, this isn't going to be too hard of a task. The challenge is I already forgot what size box I have over here. So this is 147. So I should be able to go with 150. What are you doing? Don't select things. And yes, I talk to my computers when they disobey me. I think they disobey because they need to be talked to more. All right, so here I have that outer circle is scaling issue. So now I get to try and find that path and it's grouped in. So I'm going to once again ungroup things, and this time I'm going to remember the shortcut code for it. Nope, that wasn't what I wanted. That was what I wanted. And you guys are welcome to ask me any kinds of tech questions or anything else that you might have. My planets are super distorted as well. Oh, all these little lines need adjusted. No, don't do that. Do that. Okay, you're gonna do both. I remember the days of slapping computers. In addition to slapping computers, the thing that I always found greatly satisfying was back in the days of Apple IIs. The key to life was pulling your processing cards out and putting them back in periodically. Not all the computer was on, of course, that would be bad, but when all else failed, open the sucker up, yank its brain out, and put its brain back in. It's also highly gratifying. All right, so I'm going to group this so I don't have these problems anymore. Object, group. So as we plan for this event, we are of course interested in knowing how you want to celebrate 10 years of 365 days of astronomy. We're currently working to get a hold of our old podcasters, inviting them in to join us. Ooh, pulling chips without chip pullers. That just hurts my soul to think about. Ow. Ow. Some of these have really cool colored backgrounds that are a color that is different than what I had planned. So I'm just going to go ahead and embrace the colored backgrounds. And I'm going to try and alternate between light and dark, but I'm going to embrace them nonetheless. So what I'm doing now is I'm sticking a background in here, and I'm going to make it, send to back, I'm going to make it the color of the normal backdrop for 365. For Weekly Space Hangout. And then I'm just going to leave a white grid. Whoa. Okay, I can use that to get my color. There we go. Nope. That's what I wanted. Eyedropper. I'm going to embrace all the colors. It is true. Although I suspect we will be lacking chartreuse, because I'm not sure our graphical artist ever used chartreuse. All right, so 2 down. All of them to go. All of them to go. Okay, so let me grab Ask a Spaceman next. And I'm just going to work my way around this middle section as a starting point. So Ask a Spaceman is a show done by Paul Matt Sutter, who is one of the characters on on the Weekly Space Hangout. He's an academic at The Ohio State University. Another PhD astronomer, and he's working on becoming one of the go-to personalities in astronomy communications. It's been really cool to get to watch him grow his career. Object. I can't figure out how to ungroup this enough to get at this line that is obscenely big. Let's see if I got it now. Nope. Why can't I ungroup you? This is deeply confusing. Okay, let's do it this way. Object. It says it's ungrouped. I am so confused. Okay, well, I found a workaround. There. And now what I want to do is grab this color. Keeps opening windows where you can't see them. I'm going to copy that color into a buffer. Now I'm going to back out. Let's make this one that shade of red. And move our spaceman into the box. It looks like I can embiggen our spaceman just a snert, which is pleasing. I highly recommend maximizing your spaceman. There. Okay, so let's see. Let's go the other direction now and see what I can find for light colored background. Cultural astronomy. Let's grab that one next. Whoa, I overdid my zoom. Let's get rid of that overly large weekly space hangout that's hanging off to the side. Make this the 150. That wasn't 150. I'm not quite sure. Oh, it had another thing in the layer. Okay, let's make that much bigger and then scale as needed. Wow. Okay, what's going on with you? Oh, I picked up one of the guides. Okay, now it should work much better. So what is the, hello Super Cowboy, what's the definition of a henge? I have to admit, I don't actually know that. It seems like something I should know. Totally don't. I'll admit to it though. So Super Cowboy, I am working on putting together graphics for our upcoming 3,650 podcasts later event for 365 Days of Astronomy. And what I want to do is create, and I've started to do it, I tested my spacing over here. I'm going to make a globe that has the logos all over the globe. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just having done a test a concept to figure out where the center was. I'm working on adding all of our logos in one at a time. And I know we have more logos. There they are. I knew we had more logos. I just had to find the more logos. So I'm going to add cheap astronomy in now. And there's even more than the ones I have in this file. I'm just doing this as a starting point. And I'm figuring out how many fit as I go. It does look like astronomy chess. It really does, doesn't it? I'm in the process of making a globe of logos. So I have to first put all of the logos onto a grid, and then once I have the grid, I can put everything into the sphere. And of course what I'm finding, I wonder if there's a way to transform this with, and have the lines transform with it. Let me open up the transform window instead of just using the transform that's right there, because this is super annoying. Okay, so it told me it opened the transform window. I'm not seeing a transform window anywhere. My screen is sufficiently big that I lose things. Okay, let's look to see what changes. Aha, there it was. Okay. Nope, that was transparency. Let's try this again. I want transform. All right, so scale, strokes, and effects. Let's make this 150. And I'm gonna put that one. I just took my graphic apart. I did not mean to do that. Let's grab the entire thing and put it right there, I think. And zoom in. Move it around a little bit. I think I can expand this just a snert. Yeah. Now I'm going to select this background. I'm going to make it match. I'm glad the music is working so well, Brain Freeze. I'm glad it's working. All right. So I just want to add these few right here to see how well they map. So I'm gonna grab the globe at night. Snert's gotta be a real word. And if it's not, I lobby that we make it a real word, because it's something that, like, it's a word we need. Everyone knows what you mean when you say move it just a snert. And I'm slowly getting surrounded by dogs. Okay, so there's globe at night. Let's see what other light background things we have. So we have Sheila's space cast. We have astro interviews. Space stories that are very yellow. I know we have more of these. I wonder where the file with the more are. Okay, I'm going to grab Astro Interviews and Sheila's Space Stories next. Huh. I shrank it and it went to a mystery location. That's fascinating. Let's move that down so that if it decides to disappear, I can find it again. Oh, it's attaching it to the bottom is what's happening. Okay, so let's do 0, 0. Let's see if I can find where my missing image went. There it is. You come back and go right there where you belong. All right. Now I'm going to make sure I have the correct background size behind that. One of the things I love about Illustrator is it will let you know whether or not you're lined up as you go. So Super Cowboy says, I still remember watching and looking forward to Yuri's Night live stream, especially since it matches my real name. That is excellent. That is excellent. Yeah, that was a lot of years ago that we did that. It's so strange to watch all of these Google products that I feel like I kind of grew up on slowly going away. So I have Cheap Astronomy. Let's add Cosmic Perspective. And I realized this is essentially 15 years of new media this year, because RSS became a technology in 2004 and that was already done. So now there's so many different things that are commonplace that basically defined new for the start of my career and still don't have good names. Okay, I missed the logo and managed to only bring over the shade of blue. Sometimes I am simply zero for everything. I know the Hangouts are going away, but at least YouTube Live is still a technology that lets us reach out to large numbers of people. I'm trying to figure out exactly how to grow now with this diversification of technologies, where we have Twitch, we have YouTube, we have Facebook Live. How do you keep up with all of this and go where your community is when everyone, for good reason, is split out across all the different technologies? Yeah, the Google messaging platform is something of a mess. It's really frustrating. Okay, let's grab Sheila's Space Cast. Now the nice thing, come on, paste. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, let's try this again. Am I somehow putting it elsewhere? No. But I have all these grid lines now that I didn't mean to have. So I'm going to delete the grid lines. I'm going to try and delete the grid lines. I've always wanted to do science communication in the places where people go to hang out, because it's easier to accidentally end up with an audience of people who didn't know they loved astronomy when you don't ask them to leave the places where they already are. Yeah, I'm not going to force you to go to Facebook, brain freeze. There's no way I'm going to do that. But we are looking at trying to figure out how to deal with the fact that there are people who really don't want to come to Twitch, and there are people who really don't want to go to YouTube, and how do we deal with both those audiences? And the way we've been dealing with it, this is so not working. The way we've been dealing with it is to do all of our archiving on YouTube. But that means that people can't ask questions, they can't interact. So we're going to need to do more. And the question always just becomes how. where we are largely sponsored by donations, we have to be inclusive, otherwise we die. All right, let's give Sheila a background. Okay, so send to back. There we go with that. So let's get one more dark one. Let's go with Q and A maybe. That's a set of colors that we haven't used yet. Yeah, watching Facebook, it's kind of like watching a low-speed car accident where you know that everyone is going to need a new car, but no one's going to be killed. At least I hope that no one's going to be killed. It's mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Okay. Yeah, so the big thing brain freeze is trying to figure out the technological aspects using OBS, which is what I'm using right now, Open Broadcast System. We can't readily stream to more than one platform. Now there's software called Wireframe, which maybe you're dealing with work, that lets you do that. So I'm going to try a 30-day free trial of the software and see what I can do. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to export what I have as a JPEG to my desktop, and I'm going to try wrapping it onto a sphere and see where that gets me. Yes, I want to replace what's already there. Yes, I'm okay with it. Okay, so to come back over here, this is my earlier attempt where I only had the one logo. I moved that one logo one place over to the right, and let's see how much of this we currently have filled in. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to say in Illustrator, not OBS, I'm going to say File. I'm going to place the image in. So I am not entirely noob, which is lucky. Okay, so that's the layer I had earlier. I don't need that. Let's make that go away. So there's our new layer. There are our new thingies. I'm now going to turn this layer I've created into, hi, small dog, into a symbol that is a graphic, that is a static symbol. My husband is hammering and my dog thinks that she's in trouble. So Tujant, one of the ways that you can do that is using Wireframe, which is the software that I was talking to. They're also not partnered. As Paranor points out, we're also not partnered, so then it just becomes a matter of software. Ooh, I have a mistake somewhere. Okay, let's find that mistake and kill it off before I try wrapping this to a sphere. Delete instances. Okay, so somewhere straight down I have there. So earlier when I couldn't figure out where Sheila's simulcast went, that's where it went. It went down there. So Twitch, quite often, Paranor, will partner people who are on YouTube, but part of partnering you is the expectation that you will give them 24-hour rights to your exclusive rights to what you're working on. And I think that's fair. At that point, there's money in the game. And if they're actually supporting you, and as near as I can tell, and I'm not a partner, as near as I can tell, partners are well supported. So then it starts to make sense. But we're not there. We're not there. All right. So let's see if I successfully exported that. I should now be able to import it over here. File, place. So we're still split between YouTube and here. We started on Google Hangouts on Air back before Twitch was really a thing. And where's the image I want? There it is. And we're still doing Astronomy Cast over on YouTube Live, which is the child of Hangouts on Air. But with CosmoQuest, we wanted to have a much more interactive platform. And as near as I can tell, interactive, this is the best place to do it. But for a daily news show that's only 15 minutes long, it's just not as easy to do. Okay, so here's my sphere. And what I want to do is change the image that I have mapped onto this. What I need to do is edit its appearance, which means I need the appearance window. I'm systematically opening every single window. So here is my 3D. I want to do preview. I want to map art, and I want to switch which art I am mapping. Whoa, okay. So I need to scale to fit, and progress is getting made. Okay, so we don't have to completely fill this, but this gives us a sense of how much closer we are. I'm kind of liking how this is coming out. What do you guys think? How long is the interaction session for your 15-minute broadcast? It depends on what the stories are that day. I hang around until people are done asking questions, but there's days when there just aren't as many questions. Today, for instance, there was really no new news in astronomy that we hadn't already covered on Friday. At least none that was interesting. And since it was April Fool's Day, I wanted to be careful anyways. Yeah, it's always a challenge to figure out how to get people to engage more, and this is what we're trying to figure out how to do. All right, so here's the sphere that I'm working on. It looks like I need a few more logos. I don't have to fill this. Like the triangles at the top, I think I'm going to stick... I think I'm going to leave the ones at the top blank for now. This is starting to give us an idea. Now, one of the things that I'm thinking is this kind of looks weird being completely upright like this. So the next thing I want to figure out is what if I remove the 3D revolve? Nope, I don't want to edit it. I want to remove it. So I'm going to remove the 3D revolve, and I'm going to try rotating my sphere. And what I don't know that we're going to find out together is now if I revolve this shape, what axes is it going to revolve around? I don't know. We're going to find out. And this could go terribly, horribly, awfully wrong. I don't know. And the dog just went, whoa, okay, I created a bowl. I created a bowl. That was not my intention. Okay, so we're not going to try tilting our planet. Nope, no planetary tilts for us. Okay, let's put this back to what it was. Okay, that works. Sorry. I will end up rotating this in Photoshop later. I like how there's super intense music when I accidentally turned everything into a bowl. Brain freeze. It tried to be helpful. Anytime you do a dot something, it turns it into a link nowadays. Okay. We've somehow managed on this channel to not have anyone abuse links yet. So we have been kind of friendly about links. Ooh, I know how I can make this less painful. Okay. I want to edit this. I want to map art. I want a preview. For the love of God, give me a preview. I'm going to undo the scale to fit. I'm going to redo my art. There. I made my life easier. I'm going to reverse Cheap Astro and Globe at Night, I think, and QA. So I need to move those around, but I now have less work I have to do. Does that make me a terrible person? Am I horrible for trying to make this easier? There. I think I'm going to go with that. What if parallax with Andromeda as backdrop? Creamy goodness. Abusing links isn't that hard. So Drop Bear Antics, one of the things that people were talking about over on Discord is that we don't stream enough. And so what I'm working on right now is putting together graphics for our 3,650 podcasts later event that we're going to be doing to celebrate the 365 Days of Astronomy podcast has been going on for 10 years. So what I'm doing right now is mapping podcast logos to a sphere, because what better artwork to celebrate a podcast that has been going on and includes a globe of humans. So Binary Blaze, the way I did this is, it turns out if you right click on your video in on OBS, you can do filters, and one of the filters is to mask blend to a layer. And all you have to do is create a black and white image where the black areas go away and the white areas are what you want to show. And you can mask your video to a shape. So the way I'm doing this, and I'll be redoing it in a moment, is I'm starting out with a grid. So I'm essentially making a soccer ball. Yeah, Binary Blaze. It's super easy. So right now I'm making a soccer ball, and the soccer ball will get mapped onto an actual sphere, and I'm checking how I like where the graphics ended up. And like, I really don't like that Cheap Astronomy landed over here in the corner, because Cheap Astronomy has been with us for all 10 years. So I'm going to move Globe at Night where Q&A is, because Q&A is like the lamest logo we have. I'm going to move Q&A where Cheap Astro is, and move Cheap Astro where Globe at Night is. Okay, so let's move those things around. Off to the side, please, Pamela. Do what off to the side? I have no idea. Yeah, so Super Cowboy. Oh, yes, sorry, that was me and my mic. I was getting excited into my mic. I should know better. So if you Google Far by George Hrab, that was the original 365 Days of Astronomy podcast, and he did a really silly video that is quite fabulous for silliness, that you should all go look up, basically. All right, let's see what I can do to move things around. So Q&A, you are moving there for now. I don't know what I just grabbed, but it wasn't the Globe at Night logo. Let's try doing it that way. Okay, so let's move the Globe at Night off to the side. So this sounds like the old Battlestar Galactica theme music. And I know it's not, but that's totally like, this is the theme song from Caprica from the original Battlestar Galactica. And yes, I am the kind of nerd who knows that. I watched far too much of that show growing up. All right, so there's that. I am a nerd. I embrace my nerdiness, Brain Freeze. Everyone needs to embrace who they are. And for me, as a kid who grew up with Richard Hatch as my Apollo, it is oboe, and I played oboe in high school. And on a good day, I could play this well, but good days only came a few days a month because oboes are hard. All right, so there's that. We've moved those around. Now let's see what else we need to do. Okay, so we have this grid complete, so I need to have things above and below Ask a Spaceman. Oh, I'm running out of light-colored logos. I'm going to need to go trolling our own website to find out what I can find. Hello, Noel. Welcome. Yeah, Drop Bear, it's true. I got to meet him a couple of years before he died, and I know I've told this story a million times, and I'm going to keep telling it because it's like my favorite moment of being a nerd. I was at Pensacon a number of years ago, and I was super sick. I didn't know it, but I was like in the first stages of pneumonia, and I was trying to work a conference, and really I just wanted to go back to my hotel room and die. And this was the origins of the CosmoQuest squirrel, because I was so sick that I just couldn't, basically. So I don't know where they came from, but we had like 5 or 6 small stuffed squirrels for some reason. And I put little index cards in their paws directing people how to interact with our booth. And it turned out that if I hid behind our t-shirt rack, people would interact with the squirrels more than they wanted to interact with me. And since I didn't want to interact with anyone, I wanted to die. That was fine. So we've had CosmoQuest squirrels ever since then. And more than just having CosmoQuest squirrels, while I was at that conference, while I was at Pensacon, which is a science fiction convention, I was in the green room getting hot tea. And while I pretty much cuddled my hot tea, I was sitting on the sofa, and Richard Hatch came in to get something to eat, drink, other, and he plopped down on the sofa next to me. And I had this moment of, that is Richard Hatch. And like, I'd seen all the Battlestar Galactica people floating around, getting lunch in the elevators, but like, he was sitting next to me. So I said hello, and I mentioned that we had a mutual friend, Kevin Grazier. And they're like good friends. So by saying that I knew Kevin, I was another astronomer, instantly I was no longer a creepy person. And we got to talking, and I got to explain to him that the asteroid that tried to knock out the city of Chelyabinsk, Russia, was an Apollo-class asteroid. And so explaining to the original Apollo that it was an Apollo-class asteroid was kind of one of my favorite moments ever. I did eventually get to meet Jamie Bamber, the current Apollo, for some values of current. And it was less exciting because in real life, he doesn't carry himself the same way his character does. And so I actually didn't recognize him at all out of character, and felt kind of like a moron because I had to ask Kevin, who is this you're introducing me to? And it was just like, oh, I'm dumb. Okay. Sorry, I have menus at the top of my screen, which is way up there because I'm on a 43-inch monitor. I love my monitor. I'm not complaining about my monitor. I'm complaining about the view you just got of my chin. All right, so there's that. Yeah, it was totally a squee moment. Yes, Noel, this is totally one of Kevin McLeod's things in the background. All right, so I need one more light-colored background. I may force Space Stories to have a lighter colored background. Okay, so I'm also going to just pull over our website and see if there's any logos that I should be using that I'm currently missing. So I'm just scanning through all of the recent episodes. I probably need to find the Travelers in the Night logo and see if it will fit in anywhere. Apparently we have another Ask a Spaceman logo that I wasn't thinking about. We do not have light-colored logos, is what I'm learning. Okay, so Space Stories is totally getting forced onto a different color background. Because I don't like that shade of yellow. I just don't. I admit to it. I'm allowed to not like it. Control C. Control V. Whoa, giant. Let's fix that. Okay. So I'm going to put this here. And my Ask a Spaceman is just ever so barely hanging off the corners. I'm going to make it not hang off the corners. All right. That's amazing brain freeze. It's quite possible, Super Cowboy. We collaborate a lot. Yeah, the Flying Motorcycles Drop Bear Annex, Battlestar Galactica 1980 was kind of... Mistakes were made. There's a reason that it only lasted one season. Sigh. Mistakes were made. Okay, so there's that. Let's send that to the back. And see what I can do to, first of all, put that where it actually belonged. Now, how do I grab just that? There, that's how I do it. So I'm now in that path. And I'm going to try and suck the color off of the background. And it let me. Okay, that was exciting. All right. So I think I got enough to get most of my sphere. So let's see how this looks. So once again, I'm just going to export this out as a JPEG. Why, yes, I do want to replace what I did earlier. Yeah, Drop Bear Annex. It's sci-fi tends to often go dark and gritty. Expanse is another dark and gritty one. But Star Trek is so predominant in popular culture that it's like the bubblegum pink happiness of the future, which sadly doesn't seem to be a thing. So having grown up on the original Battlestar Galactica, yeah, I love Star Trek The Next Generation, and thank God it did have a variety of hard-hitting episodes, but it's not always there. Oh, Drop Bear Annex. I tend to agree. So Brain Freeze, there's two different series with Battlestar Galactica. There's the series that it was only one season back in 1979. And that is the season that I watched as a child. And as a child, it was amazing. It is less good in retrospect. The new Battlestar Galactica that was done by the Sci-Fi Channel is also quite good, but don't watch the last episode. The last episode will leave you hating everything. So as long as you watch everything but the last episode, it's totally worth watching. And I'm sorry that I'm making faces into the camera. I scratched my cornea, and it's just not a happy eyeball. Okay, so let's hide that layer. Now that I've made my new image into a symbol, I'm going to edit my 3D revolve. I'm going to do preview because I like myself. I'm going to get the new symbol that I've put in. Let's make that a little bit smaller. I'm going to start by scaling to fit. Let's do that. And now that I've scaled to fit, I'm going to adjust the size a little bit at a time. Okay, so there's that. I'm now going to stream it that direction. That was a bit much. I'm losing things off the edge. Let's stretch it a little bit in that direction. This is the hard part because you're just sort of tweaking it and hoping it works. Because it's three-dimensional. When you adjust the left, you have to adjust the right. There. I think I like this. I love that we had to add the word Smexy Cylon to AutoMod. Yeah, Drop Bear Annex. The 1980 reboot was truly terrible. The new show and the old show so radically diverged as to be different things. Yeah. Okay, so I have a globe. I have a globe of logos. Now, I should probably add at least my off-white color to these squares I'm not using on the left and right. I think I'm just going to make this easy on myself by simply taking one of these boxes. Come on, I want... and making it pretty much the background for the whole thing. Actually, no, I don't have a background. So let's do that. And then do X0, Y0, whoops. Except I want to do the Y0, X0 to the upper left-hand corner. I think I did 1600 by 800. I don't know. No, apparently that is not the size I used because I conjoined those. Let's unconjoin those and try this again. So width of 1600. Still not right. So this is where I just drag to the lower right hand corner. Let's shift that to the back. Okay, seriously, I would like you to go to the back. Go to the back. Other back. There we go. What microphone are you using, if you don't mind? This is a Bluebird by Blue Audio. I don't know if they still make this one. The higher end Blue mics are fabulous. This is a professional quality mic that I also use for voice work. And I can't recommend it enough. Yeah, I have that and a Scarlett preamp, which is recommended by Blue. So binary Blaze. I started with a Blue Yeti. I just upgraded over time. Okay, so there's that. Let's export this again to JPEG. Export as. Yes. To the desktop. It was CQ Funds that bought the mic, I think. Yes, because it took us... Actually, I don't know. Did we buy you one or did we send you my old one? I don't remember which. I think I may have just sent you home with my old Blue Yeti. At least that's what I'm really hoping we did. Because if not, somebody still has my Blue Yeti. Okay, so we purchased it. Nope, okay. I know who has the Blue Yeti. Adding to the list of things to be gotten back at some point. Alrighty. So we have new background image. Let's try importing in. Psi is correct. Let's do a place, background sphere, place. Now I need my symbols, menu back up. Let's add this in. I'm going to delete a bunch of my earlier versions because they're just cluttering things up. Delete instances. Delete instances. Okay. Okay, it won't let me use it because it's live. That's fair. Okay, let's make that disappear. Now I'm going to edit this 3D revolve with preview. Map art. Symbol 3. That is starting to look better. So I'm going to scale it to fit. Hey, Dude Man 007. I am mapping things onto a sphere to make a logo for an upcoming event. Because this is how we roll sometimes. So for those of you who are just joining, the 365 Days of Astronomy podcast is turning 10 this year. And to celebrate, we're going to be doing a 10-hour live stream on April 27th. And I need to make art that conveys that we are a global project with a whole lot of voices doing a whole lot of things. And it seemed like mapping a bunch of our logos onto a sphere really seemed like the way to do it. So we're going to start with this. Binary Blaze, sorry, we means me and Aviva here. You don't have to. It's okay. This is the 365 humans. You're welcome to join. I'm not going to torture you. I like you, and you're going to be surviving the April 30th launch, all the things. So, Binary Blaze is the other host of this channel, and she and I survived 40 hours of streaming the weekend before Christmas. So she knows that insane things happen around here. No, you aren't getting tortured with this one. Oh man, my eye hates it when I look upwards. Okay, so I'm going to save this as... I don't care if it's unmodified outside of Illustrator. Oh, you're trying to save it as a JPEG, aren't you? I don't want to save it as a JPEG. File. Save as 3650 sphere. I am good with that. Yes, we do have Amazon affiliate links. Maybe? We might not. We should. Log into Amazon as CosmoQuest and poke. Because I just don't know. And if we don't, I'll work with Maui to set that up at PSI. So we are part of a 501c3 nonprofit. CosmoQuest is a product of the Planetary Science Institute where Annie and I both work. All right, so I'm going to export this as a transparent PNG so that I can do stuff and things to it in Photoshop next. And I'm doing it as a PNG so I can rotate it. Unable to save empty documents. Something just occurred. Thank you for the follow, Dude Man 007. Thank you for the follow. We are supported by you. Your bits, donations, and subs keep the science flowing. Never scratch your cornea? That's why I'm making faces at my screen. How do I have an empty... Oh man, it won't export this as a transparent PNG. Alrighty then. Let's try saving this. Export. Let's try export for screens. That is smarter. That it can do. Okay, export for screens works. I have no clue where it's going to save it. The music is fabulously dramatic. I'm very confused at where. So somewhere on my computer screen is a window that will let me export this, and I have no idea where that window is. Oh, Illustrator, why do you do this to me? Arrange. It was a little Marshall. I'll give that to you. I don't know where my save window is. I recommend that as well. I'm so confused. It won't let me save because it thinks the save dialog is already open, but I can't find the dialog. Okay. I seem to have managed to bang a return to get out of what I was doing before. Now it's giving me an empty document error. Okay, let's go back down the rabbit hole we were in a moment ago with the save for screens. Hello, Ambius. We're starting to get the whole crew in here this evening. You're up very late, Ambius. Export artboard. I'm hoping it actually downloaded somewhere. It's not actually showing it on my desktop right now, which is my confusion. So it says that it's writing it, and then it's not putting it anywhere I can find it. Yeah, I know it's not in that folder. Bunnies? This is more a matter of Adobe is having issues at the moment. I updated. That's always a mistake, I think. So File, Export, for Screens. There's the artboard. It says it's doing it to the desktop. Since that doesn't seem to work, I'm going to very specifically say I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it Put Here. Choose. So I can see that on my desktop. Open location after export, create subfolders. Total export 0. What? Why are you It won't render my 3D object. It's calling it a blank artboard. I'm so confused. It says Artboard 1. I see Artboard 1. I would like to export Artboard 1. So selected 1, total export 0, because it's considered a blank artboard. Why are you a blank art? Dear Adobe product. Okay, so here is where I'm going to see if I can trick it into going into Photoshop. I don't know if it will let me. Oh, Ernst Joe, I hope that things like today's FAA one didn't affect you at all. So now I can't select anything. Dear software, why do you hate me? I feel like I must have done something to break the universe. I just don't know what. Because I'm starting to agree with it. There is nothing here to select, so of course the artboard is empty. I'm just gonna kill this image. Don't save. I'm gonna start over. It's just easier sometimes to start over. So here we go with creating a new document. I'm gonna do 600 by 600 pixels because this is for the web. I am going, so flattening it in Illustrator isn't a thing the way it's a thing in Photoshop. Just be as confusing as possible. Let's make this 600 by 600. I know, Noel, you like to mock Adobe products. And I respect that, but this is what I have. And this is what I know how to use. So this is what I'm going to use. And 600 is a bit big for my canvas size. So let's make this 550. Alrighty. So this is the sphere I'm going to rotate. I learned earlier that rotating things with a black border doesn't work. So I'm going to kill the black border. In order to rotate it, I have to cut it in half. Think calculus. You're going to rotate a shape. So what is the shape that when rotated 360 degrees gives you a sphere? Well, that shape is half of a circle. So I've now deleted one half of the circle and I have another half invisibly hanging out over here. So as a starting point, I'm just going to render the 3D revolve. Except I hit rotate by accident, and rotating and revolving are not the same thing. All right. So there is a sphere. Now what I want to do is I want to map onto this sphere our happy 365 days of astronomy. So to do that, I'm going to place the artwork that we created, which is the background image, which is on my desktop, not in with my Twitch folder. Not that you can see the file I was fighting with. Okay, so I place this here, and in order to put it onto the surface of a sphere, I have to turn it into a symbol. And it needs to be a graphic and static, or it's just not going to work right. Now, over here under layers, I can expand things out and make that disappear. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to edit my 3D revolution. And to edit my 3D revolution, what I want to do is first of all preview it because I like myself. And now I'm going to map artwork to this. And I can adjust how the artwork appears by moving it around and resizing it in this window. So for instance, I know that I want to move the pole a little bit, and I want to change the wrap a little bit. So I'm going to go with that. And if I'm lucky, it will now let me export it. File, and yet my eye hurts to look up. So I'm going to name this 365 0 sphere. And it still won't do it. Okay. Cancel. But now I at least have something that I can copy. And I'm going to open Photoshop. Yeah, I love your discussion of trying to help me figure out how to fix it. Welcome to the land of all the weird shit I've recently drawn here. Create new. We are going to make this 800 by 800. And I'm going to try pasting from Illustrator. And it looks like it may just nope me. It hates me. Alrighty then. Let's see. There's got to be a way to save this. Other than as an Illustrator file. File. Let's do save as. Do you want to do save as? Is that what you demand? No. I've never been thwarted by trying to figure out how to save something. That's awesome, Ambius. I can totally see people learning, just looking at all of the documentation on how to map things to spheres and being like, F this noise, and just finding a different way to do it. All right, so what I want to do is use the artboards to export to PNG. Actually, PNG isn't working, so let's just try JPEG. 365 0 sphere. Okay, that didn't give me an error message. It actually output something. Okay. So I know how to make my sphere transparent now, and this is by chroma keying the background. This is such a stupid way to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chroma key it. This is how the cool kids fake PNGs. So what I want is R is 0, G is FF, and B is 0, 0 for my hex code to give me just green. And now we have just green. I'm going to move this to the back. I'm going to export this as a PNG. Not as a PNG, it won't let me do that. I'm going to export this as a JPEG. Well, yes, I would like to replace what I did earlier. Now, Photoshop, while I was doing that, came up with a dialog message asking if I'd like to paint things as pixels, paste things as pixels. So it could be that Photoshop finally decided it would let me. Okay, so while I went and did all that chroma key stuff, Photoshop decided, oh yeah, we'll let you do that after all. Okay, so here we go with turning this into something cool. So I'm now clicking on things in the wrong window. So I'm now in Photoshop. The latest update to Photoshop did evil things to the side toolbar that I still haven't manually undone. Good use of emote, Paranor. So what I want to do is I want to put this on a starry background. And the easiest way to do that is to first of all come into my background and make it black. Which means I need to unlock it. Alrighty. Why won't you let me draw? Seriously, paint bucket tool. Nope, that wasn't the paint bucket tool. Paint bucket tool. There we go. So now I'm going to filter, noise, add noise. And what I'm going to do is add Gaussian monochromatic noise. Now the reason that I do this is so that I can then go through and do some futzing. I'm sure there's a better word. That's the word I'm going to use to change this around so that it looks like stars. So the first thing I'm going to do is hate my left eye. Okay. Never scratch your cornea. Blur, Gaussian blur. So I'm going to put a small amount of Gaussian blur onto all of those points because actual stars come in a variety of different sizes. So I'm going to blur that out 1.5 pixels. Now that still looks like a bad astronomical image instead of a actual star field. So the next thing I'm going to do is adjust brightness contrast. And I'm afraid if I take a break, I'm going to be just done for the evening. So I'm just trying to get through this one stupid image. I just need to create this image. Okay, so I want to do mode adjustments. I think levels is what I want. Yes, levels is what I want. So I'm going to adjust the levels until I have the star field I seek instead of the star field I currently have. Okay, so that doesn't totally look like a star field. I may have blurred things out too much. There, that looks like a star field. Okay, so now I have a star field. If a zombie ate your brain, I suspect that you lock yourself away before you become patient 0, but only after you report who the other zombie is so that they can get killed, murdered, massacred. No zombies. No zombies. So envious, thank you. Photoshop is kind of my happy place. So there we go with the logo. Hi, come on up. This is Eddie. Eddie would like me to go play with him. All right, so we have a planet. I'm going to move the planet over here. It looks like a bouncy ball escaping through the universe. I want to add I want to shade this. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to get rid of my green chroma key from earlier. There we go. Now, in order to shade this, I'm going to duplicate what I had. So I now should have 2 of these bouncy balls. I do. And this one, I'm going to unmap the art. So I'm going to do clear. Now I want to preview this. So I think that is subtle enough shading. And I'm going to move the highlight point around in a moment to highlight the 365 days of astronomy. But in order to highlight things, what I want to do is multiply this with the layers below it so that it acts to shade things. Now I can also do darken. And I usually go back and forth trying to figure out what I want. So that's darken. Now let's go back to the appearance menu and fuss with how the lighting is on that so that the lighting is highlighting the 365 days. Now normally I don't like having highlights, but for this I think I want to have a highlight. And I want to turn the ambient light down a little bit. Now, because I have this done as RGB coloring, things go a little crazy with the shading. So I'm going to try and avoid going too Technicolor by stopping there. Now I'm going to try to copy that over as a new layer to this window by pasting it as a smart object. And I need to adjust the transparency of the layer so that it is a darken. There. And eventually I'm going to put a black line around this to just make it look a little bit better. All right. So we're slowly getting something that's looking three-dimensional. It's looking kind of cool. Thank you, Brain Freeze. What if you tilted towards south and shaded the North Pole so as to not shade a partner? Because that is a layer of tilt that I just don't have control over. I could do it if I open things up in After Effects, but I'm just not quite that good. Now, what I can do, I think, let me see if I can grab the two layers. let's have it come bouncing in from the side. I don't know. I can move things around. It's coming. Not that you can see that I just typed that because, wow, it typed it in black super tiny. 60. Let's make this. Let's make this that color, which isn't quite white. It's coming. And yes, I need to fix that. So somewhere I have a paragraphs and characters window. There it is. And last time I used this, I was mucking around. And I'll muck around with this more, but for now I'm going to let it auto decide what height to make the lines. So I like how this looks like you're about to get attacked by the incoming podcasts. Yeah, attack us with science. That is, whoa, wrong window. Let me reduce this so I stop doing that. Okay. I'm going to do this as two different text strings. Yes, for science. All right, so there's the beware it's dropping. Now celebrating 10 years of podcasts. With okay, so this is April 27, 2019. Starting, nope, 10 a.m. Eastern. How did we do this for the Hangout-a-thon? This is me thinking too hard. 10 a.m. to 10 hours later is 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is in British summertime, so that is plus 5, so 3 p.m. I can math. 3 p.m. to 10 hours later is 1 a.m. Yes, British summer time. Oh, my eye hurts. I'm sorry for all of the whinging that is going on. And I'm just going to break these times out slightly separate. You totally need to do Taco Tuesday. That is going to need to be a thing. I now want tacos. You guys are experts at making me want to eat things. And I'll fuss with the spacing on this more later. I need to kill that period off. Yeah, waffles. So now I'm going to do our standard, put something in Daniel Black. No, that was not what I meant to do. Okay, let's click. Now select Daniel Black. Okay. So I'm going to work on rearranging things to get it exactly the way I want now. It's an iterative process. It's coming. Now, let's right align that. It noped me. Why did it nope me? I have angered my computer. Oh, because I clicked on the wrong button. Alrighty, so right align those. There's that alignment. And let's do Saturday. For 10. Pardon me while I make up how I want this to look. So currently I appear to be going through all sorts of insanity, but I promise you folks, it will begin to make sense momentarily. I just have to do it in pieces. That still isn't doing what I want it to do. Like, the effect isn't what I want. So let's do this in a lighter font. Regular. Make it larger. Now I want to decrease the spacing between these lines. And this is where I don't let it make its own decisions. Now I'm going to make the Saturday a little bit bigger, except it's actually 427, not 410. I don't know why I wrote 410. Okay. So let's get this Saturday. So that works. I love this particular song. Thank you so much, Nebula Cluster. Thank you so much for the sub. My dog heard that and came in. Come on in. So we give dog treats to the dogs as a way of saying thank you. I know. So you get to see a visualization of our joy. So all bits, subs, and Patreon donations lead to doggy treats, and my dog knows the noise, which means that when we watch other Twitch streamers, I have to either mute it or listen on headphones to prevent my dog from driving me crazy. And for those of you who don't know why I'm making squinty evil face at this, it's because I scratched my cornea and I'm starting to hit end of ability to look at screens for the day. But I really just want to finish this graphic. That's all I want to do is finish this graphic. Okay. So the magic trackpad is the best thing ever created for zooming in. That doesn't fit there. Okay, let's not put that there. So let's also put Pacific time. So Pacific time is going to be 7 a.m. to... Actually, we should do Sydney. Does someone want to figure out what time it is in Sydney? Okay, so I'm going to type into Google 10 a.m. in Boston in Sydney, because that's a search that's actually legit nowadays. So that's 1 a.m. Sydney. So 1 a.m. plus 1 day. to, oh man, that's not going to fit. Okay, I'm going to put that in as a superscript. 1 a.m. to 10 hours later is 11 a.m. Okay. And the current time zone in Sydney is called what? Sydney. I'm just going to put cities. There's no reason not to. So this becomes Boston, my hometown. This becomes London. And this becomes Sydney. Alrighty, and that looks like I need to tighten those up. It's probably too tight, but I'll figure that out in a second. Arnstro, you are fabulous. Alrighty, I need to do this as 24? No. I need to do this as that, I think. Not quite. And I will be moving things around. Of course you're moving from the lower left-hand corner to make sure that everything is lining up nicely. I think that's lining up nicely. No, stop, go back. It was lining up nicely until I moved my finger. There. All right, so we have that and we have that. I'm going to move this down until it fits. So here's the information on it's coming. With 365 days of astronomy. What time should Sydney be? I know I need to add the +1 day. It's entirely possible that I flailed. Should be midnight. Oh, then I can avoid the +1 day. Because I'm going to put it as, I guess 12 a.m. is +1 day, isn't it? To 10 a.m. Sydney. And that no longer looks good. Right justified. So let's justify it left. That was not what I meant, software. Okay. I feel like starting 5 minutes early just to get around the +1 day in Sydney. I'll stick the +1 day in there, I promise. So I want that to be higher up. And I want to move that down. And this needs to have its text centered. I need to figure out how to get it to stop moving things like that. There we go. This should be the biggest thing because this is the name of the event. So let's embiggen. Let's maybe not embiggen that much. Is my mic picking up my husband playing guitar? Because if it is, you're going to have very confused audio. My husband is in the process of building a new guitar. Okay. So now I would probably like to add some colors. I'm just going to stick the dates up here. And someone in our house is cooking meat. I smell meat. No, stop. Okay, I apparently managed to move only a layer, which was not what I meant to do. There. Two other feeds playing, so your audio is already confused. Wow, all of the multitasking going on. So what do you guys think? I feel like it needs color and it doesn't, it probably doesn't need the words "it's coming." I just don't quite know where to put the color. Probably here. Oh, this is the music that we used for our promotional video for CosmoQuest. What if time and date were bigger? Okay, so that means they need to go somewhere else. I don't like that. Okay. Ah, that doesn't work. Stop. Go back. Move the time zones down and make the date bigger. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start by just moving things around. Let's move this right here. And yes, I'm going to make that bigger. And I'll need to fuss with the kerning on it, because that's not good. So let's zoom in on this. Whoa, that was not zoom in. That was a completely different command that I did not mean to use. All right, so let's see. That lines up there. I wonder if I can just image transform this into being the correct side. And why does looking up hurt my eyeball? Ugh. Okay, so it seems to be willing to let me scale it. Yes. Okay. It is where I look for memory, but that doesn't explain why it makes my eyeball hurt. I mean, other than the whole fact that I scratched my cornea and I expect that there's something involved with looking up that is irritating that area, but... Okay. So now I'm heavy on the right-hand side, so this needs to come over here to balance everything out. This font can go smaller. What do you guys think? Oh no, yes. Thank you, Orange. I just want to finish this so that I can send it off to Aviva so we can start promoting the event. Good enough as a starting point, guys? What do you think? I think I want to make the width smaller and the 365 bigger. All right, so I'm going to make one more change. Make that 30. Make that 48. And now adjust the spacing. Not that much. Yes? Maybe brighten the stars somehow. The stars are pure white. They're the only pure white thing in the image. The stars are as bright as they can get. I could add more stars, but I can't brighten the stars. A hard line for the shading instead of a gradient would fit better. Where are you talking about, Noel? Do you mean the overlay I have on this? I wouldn't know how to do that as a hard layer. It's actually rendered in 3D. It's two different 3D objects. I'm overwhelmed with how white the text is, but I think I'm going to get opinions from Aviva, and I'm going to call it quits because I kind of want to go claw my eyebrow out. Let's see, what if there was a super bright star in the top left sixth? Let me find the lens flare tool. Where is it? Oh, it's an Illustrator tool. Let me create a lens flare in Illustrator and copy it over. I don't know where it has it, and in filters render. Okay. Let me cancel. Filters. What do you think I'm doing? Let's go back down to layer 0. Filter. Render. Lens flare. That is not something I've used before. Cool. So these are the controls that I have. And then it lets me like pick what kind of lens. Ooh, I like that one the best so far. No, we're not going to do a J.J. Abrams. Okay, so let's go with that. And it's centered it, which I don't like so much. I'd like it to be over here somewhere. Okay, so let's move that back. Let's undo that. Let's add a new layer. Stick the lens flare on the new layer. Render lens flare. Thank you, Noel. Could not complete lens flare because the selected area is empty. Well, fine. Let's copy the background layer instead. Yes, I want to get rid of the blank layer. Okay, so I'm going to render the lens flare on this layer. Lens flare. I'm going to move this layer. So something, stop it. Go up there and stay up there. So something like that. The lens flare on a solid black layer and setting the blending mode of that layer to screen. That works. I'm gonna go with my stars layer and just add some stars. Screen. There, so now we have some more stars up there. That actually looks cool. So thoughts, folks? Noel, I appreciate your help. That was a command I didn't know that Photoshop had. Okay. So, see you, Super Cowboy. I'm going to save this, send it to Aviva, my colleague in arms, and expect to see announcements for our April 27th event coming soon. And I'm now going to go die for the evening. Have a fabulous evening, everyone. I'm gonna run the credits. Does anyone see someone they'd like to recommend that I raid? Because I am happy to raid. I just need indications on who is good right now. Otherwise, I'm going to go take a look at the Knowledge Fellowship and raid somebody over there. All right, so let's get the credits going in the background. And I'm going to see, so the Knowledge Fellowship is a group of educational content streamers. And there's superfluid vortex research going on right now. I'm going to raid that because that's like crazy awesome. So we're going to raid, they only have 3 viewers. But it sounds super awesome. So give them a fabulous CosmoQuest hello when we get there. Moth Bone Lady. So Drop Bear Antics, what is that and what are they doing? Tell me on Discord. I'm going to raid this person who's doing superfluid vortex research, because superfluid vortex research, give them a fabulous CosmoQuest welcome when you get there. It is Simu Leos, and that's all I really know. Here we go. Hello, Jesse. I'm gonna start the credits. Expect abrupt change of music, and I will see you all on the other side. Bye-bye. Oh, no, I have to click one more button.